Hello, this is Wayne from Wayne's Designs and Photography, and today I'm actually doing my very first video. And I'm going to be talking about a couple of things as a photographer that you need to take to head. Actually, a couple of tips, pointers, basically. So stay tuned, and it's my first video, so forgive me if I fumble over some words of mine, but let's go ahead with it. Enjoy it. Hello, and we are back. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about a couple of tips as a photographer that you need to take. And being a photographer is difficult because there's a lot of criticism that you have to deal with as time goes. Not only from the people, from clients and some of the people that don't like your work, but your biggest critics are actually other photographers that you need to keep in mind. But there's one thing as a photographer that you need to take heed, and you have to be one of your biggest critic. Nobody else should critique you more than you critique yourself. So if you do not critique your own work, basically you stand to lose a lot. You stand to lose a lot. I've only been in this photography game for about a year now, and within that year I managed to grow my client base. I managed to meet a lot of people, but it only came when I started critiquing my own work. And especially when you take a picture and you have to sit down and you're busy editing using Lightroom or Photoshop or Capture One, and if you don't know how to critique your own work, you won't know how to edit your work, and you won't be able to grow in the photography space, or you won't be where you want to be. So some of the tips that I'm going to be talking about, like one was having to critique your own work. So basically, the second tip that I can give you is you need to know what time of the day that you have to shoot. Do not shoot when it's too dark, and do not shoot when the sun is way too bright. And so there's actually some things that I use in order for me to shoot. I plan my shoots. I always plan my shoots. It's either you shoot early in the morning before sunrise, or when you get in your golden hour, or as some people know it as magic hour, or you shoot just before sunset. If you do shoot when the sun is too bright, I suggest that you do off-camera flash, and in that way you can manipulate light however it is that you want. So tip number 3 that I can give you is you need to know your photography gear. You need to know your gear. So like I said, I've only been at this for a year now, and I managed to grow some of my gear that I was using. So when I started off, I had one camera, which is the camera that I'm busy recording on at the moment, and that's a Nikon D5100. It's a crop sensor camera, and I only had 2 lenses. The lenses that I was using were kit lenses. They come with the camera, which is your 18 by 55 millimeter lens, and then your 55 by 200. So for those of you that don't know, 18 by 5500. This is a kit lens. I don't use it anymore. I just don't use it anymore. And then the second lens that I have over here is 55 by 200. Also this year, I don't really use it that much. I only use it if I want to zoom in. And but what you need to have in your kit bag, your photography bag, not your kit bag, there's soccer players. You need to have a 50 millimeter. Every photographer needs to have a 50 millimeter lens. It's like you're a police officer, or you're in the army. You can't go to war without any bullets. So 50mm lens. I love this lens. And I'm going to be showing you a couple of images that I took with just this lens alone, and it's an amazing lens. And then the fourth lens that I have is also the one that I'm busy using now to record on, and this is a 24-85. It's a wide angle lens, and this is a fixed focal lens. Your 50mm, it's a fixed focal lens. It's a 1.8. And the one that I have over here is the 24-85, which is a wide angle lens. It's amazing for photography. I love this lens. I wish I had the money to get myself a 24-70, but the lens is way too expensive. But this does the work for me. I love the lens. It does whatever it needs to do, and I'm happy with it. Another mistake that a lot of photographers, I think that a lot of beginner photographers make, is they want to have all the equipment, everything. They want to have the 50mm, the 85mm, your 135. They want to have your 24-70s, your 70-200s, and you don't really need all of those lenses, people. You don't need all of those lenses. If you know how to use your gear, people won't even tell the difference. They will not be able to tell the difference. The 70-200, beautiful lens. I love that lens. If I had the money to buy it, I would buy it, but I don't have the money to buy it now. So yeah. So you need to know your gear, you need to know what you're using. And so my second camera that I have, which is the latest addition to my family, my Nikon family, is my D700 full frame camera. I love this camera. It's a professional camera. It does everything it needs to do. Everything it needs to do. So you have to have two cameras, 2 or 3. There's no way that you can just use one camera. Come on. There's no photographer that I know that only has one camera. But if you're a beginner photographer, it's okay. It's okay to have one camera. You can make enough money to get yourself a second one. You have to have a second one. And then what I do is my very first speed light was a Zome. A very, very cheap, as a bio cheap flash, man. So I think I got this lens from Wish. I paid $450 for it, and that was a year ago. I was excited when I got this. It was my very first one. I'm also going to show you a couple of images that I took with this here, and it took me a while to save up to get a proper HSS flash. And this did the work for me. I still use it. It stays in my bag. I don't use it as much as I want to, but I still do use it. Amazing. It takes 4 AA batteries. And my latest flash that I have is actually my Yongnuo. So this year, oh my God, a 568 Yongnuo speedlight. This is a HSS flash. I love it. I really do love it. I think I paid 2,800 Rand for it, which is, if you can't afford to get yourself an 8200, or if you can't afford to get a 8600 or 8600, go for a speed light. Go for a speed light. You might not get the output, the flash output that you want if you're off-camera flash photographer, but it gets the job done. At the end of the day, it gets the job done. Clients do not care about what gear it is that you use, but as a photographer, you need to care about what gear that you use. As long as a client pays you, they want the images, and the images need to look good. So get yourself one HSS flash. Get yourself an HSS flash. And then all the other stuff that I have here, just triggers that I have, batteries and everything. So yeah. And then I also got a couple of reflectors, and then lately I just got myself the gels. So I'm going to start using gels. So those are some of the tips that I can give a beginner photographer. There are still a lot more that we can talk about in my next video. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but in my next video we're going to talk about your ISO, your aperture, your f-stop. We're going to talk about your shutter speed and everything else. And it's just a couple of tips on what it is that you need to do in order to get the best image output. So, and I'm going to be trying to upload videos every week. I don't know if it will be possible with having a full-time job, but yeah. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be loading a couple of images that I took throughout the year with a couple of lenses that I've hired, and also the very first camera that I ever had, which was the D50-100. I will put everything on there so you can see how I've grown throughout the year with the type of equipment that I bought. And it's a growing game. It's all a growing game. If you're a beginner photographer and you are not inspired by another photographer, you're not going to go anywhere. So this is just some tips that I'm giving you, some tips that you need to go by. Take it, do whatever it is that you want to do with it. We've all started somewhere, and I'm actually happy with the path that I'm on at the moment. I really love my photography, and thanks to all my clients that's been booking me and that's been supporting me and supporting my family with the business that I have. And I would just like to say thank you, man. And it's 2019. We're starting this year off with a big bang. I have a lot of bookings that's been coming up lately, and I would just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't liked my page yet, please go ahead, go to Wayne's Designs on Facebook, and on Instagram it's Wayne's Designs _01. Go and check it out, follow my page, like my images, share my page. Please, I would really enjoy that. Thank you so much, and I'm over and out. Cheers.